Hello Sangha, welcome to the Abbots Address. Today is Friday, May 26, 2017. So we just finished up an intensive Ango training period. It was a fantastic Ango. We worked with Dogen throughout the entire time, and people made a lot of progress. There was a lot of really wondrous activities that happened. And I want to thank everybody for their sincere effort and practice and really diving into the great matter. A question has come up a couple of times, like, okay, we just finished Ango, now we're in the non-Ango time, and what does that mean? Should I just quit practicing altogether, or how do you move into the next training period? Well, the whole thing's a big trick, really, because the hope is that let's say you took up the practice of the daily home liturgy. Let's just say that was new for you, and you decided, okay, I'll kick up my Zen training, this 90-day training period, by doing that daily, and that's my commitment, and we'll go for that. And so now, gosh, the last thing I'd want is for you to just stop doing that because because you're done with Ango. If you've integrated that, if that's become part of your spiritual practice now and part of what nourishes you, by all means, please continue, right? You can please continue with that. And then next Ango, we'll add another piece, maybe sit a little bit more, or come to the temple once more a month, or whatever it is. Maybe do a couple of days of sesshin, something like that. Making an effort to be at the Dharma combat, get in line this time to have some interaction with the teacher in front of everybody, whatever. You see, and in this way, over time, you begin to pack in and complete and get more. So that's one answer to the question, is if you're building a practice, if your practice is kind of newish and you're kind of getting your legs together and you add pieces one at a time, keep those pieces intact and build on them for the next one. Now, on the other hand, if you've got a very well established practice, then I actually do recommend that you go through intensity and back down to normal, and intensity and back down to normal. That makes sense. So, for example, one person I know took up the practice of making oryoki breakfast every day during Ango. This is a person that took up that practice from retreat, applied it to their morning routine successfully, and that became part of their way of connecting with the nourishment of sesshin in daily life, and it went fantastically. Now, that person may well decide that, okay, I'm not going to necessarily need to be doing that every day during the non-Ango period. That would be fine. It's kind of a personal thing. You kind of have to feel your way into it and do what makes sense. So, two different answers. One, build your practice so that it's reasonable and stable, and keep adding pieces until you have that. And there's a couple ways that can look, frankly. There's not just one answer for everybody. That can look different ways. It would generally have to do with keeping the daily liturgy going more days than not, sitting more days than not, and ideally sitting a couple of times, maybe in the morning and in the evening. And then participating in temple activities, assuming that you're regional, getting there so that you're able to continue to plug in and keeping some commitment to sesshin training. I mean, it's kind of the package. And then you add to that other things like academic study. Now, it turns out then the second piece is, then if you've got a stable basic practice and then you really kick it up a notch for Ango, then go ahead and pull it back down to normal, and then that's totally the right thing to do. Okay, good deal. Okay, so now, speaking of academic study, we've got a teachings retreat here. There's actually a lot of things on the queue that are coming up. We have a new Jikai class. Their first formation retreat day is this Saturday, is tomorrow. So please keep those folks in your intentions. It's a very intense formation process that we have for the Jikai initiates here in the Sangha, and it's a very deep process, and it's a wonderful, wonderful one. And it takes some doing, so please hold them all in your awareness as we go forward. So that's this Saturday. We continue to have your Guardian Council is meeting to reflect on the Shoken process and how to move forward with that and keep sessions going well. The postulancy folks are going to be doing training. They continue in their efforts with me to develop and do their formational studies for their priesthood, and it's going very nicely, just to update you on that. There's a research project on mindfulness as it relates to the education of counselors happening at the University of Toledo that I'm involved in. That's kind of cool. And there's the Gen X Dharma Teachers Conference. This is a meeting that happens every 2 years. Dawn and I go. We have for many years. We've been to every one of these things so far. And we just meet with peers in our age range that hold the lineage in some form of Buddhism in the West, and we connect and have a good time and talk and share stories and joys and sorrows, and it's nice. This one is out in Colorado, we'll be going to. And then June 12th through the 18th, significantly, is the Buddhist Studies Teaching Retreat that's happening. And that one starts Monday the 12th. We'll have an opening ceremony. I think it starts at 6 p.m., something like that, getting the temple ready, getting everything together. And then the teaching days are the Tuesday through the Saturday, with the conclusion on Sunday for the closing ceremony for it. We'll be using as our text this. This is called The Heart of the Buddhist Teaching by Thich Nhat Hanh. It's a very... it's a very accessible book I'm sure you'll love. I've got to go and help the pugs. Thank you, everybody, for your practice.